On the show in Wheelspin, we drive the new Skoda Yeti. In Wheelspin, we have a look at the Mercedes GLA as it's about to be launched. And in Wheelspin, we have a look at the Gixxer as Suzuki launches its latest motorcycle. And on the road, we drive the new Elite i20 to Matheran. Skoda came into India about 13 years ago in 2001, and they began their journey in the Indian market with the Octavia, and in fact the Octavia went on to become a very popular car. They then went on to launch other cars like the Fabia and the Laura, and they also had a very competent car in their portfolio which they then launched till 2010, the Yeti. But unfortunately the Yeti, like its proverbial snowman namesake, remained elusive in the Indian market for many years because of certain reasons like the price, which is supposed to have been very high. But it's good news for all those who love the Yeti because Skoda has just launched the new Yeti. The Skoda Yeti, like its namesake, might not have charmed everyone with its unusual looks. But what it got right is its ability to do many things at the same time, which many cars can only dream of, like off-roading. Okay, so you might say the Yeti is an SUV, so what's the big deal? The deal is that it can also double up as your everyday compact, measuring in as it is at only 4.2 meters. It's fairly compact to be taken to work, the thrifty diesel engine is meant for economy, the space it offers is adequate, and this is where the Yeti scores. Okay, first let me put her through her paces as an off-roader. This Yeti here is a very competent off-roader. Not only it comes with a 4x4 wheel drive which you can just activate by pressing this button here, but also the ground clearance of 180mm comes in very handy. The Yeti will be available in two variants, the 4x2 and the 4x4. And it is the 4x4 which gets the more powerful 140 PS. And if you are off-roading, I'm sure you're going to need that too. Not only the power, but the torque is also higher in the 4x4 variant. It generates about 360 Newton meters of torque as compared to 310 for the 4x2 variant. On top of this, it has all the driver aids which might come in very handy if you venture off the road, like traction control, ABS, hill descent lock, and stuff like that, which prevents the car from slipping. And yes, she instantly transformed into her true colors, that of an SUV. The new Yeti comes with descent control, and the high angle of approach and departure really helps when you do decide to chance your luck and come down a slope or climb one up. The technological wizardry helps, and the Yeti plays the part of an off-roader with ease. What I really like about this 2-liter diesel is that it's not only powerful, churns out enough power, but it is extremely refined and smooth. And I think this is one of the best diesels I have driven in a long time. It's smooth, it's quiet, it has no noise and vibrations, and it is quite adequate in terms of power output. Actually, it's good fun spending time behind the wheel of this Yeti because it drives very well. I like the feel of the car. It's solid, it's planted, it grips the road well, and there is adequate power. And on top of that, it has all the features that you might need. And what I like is, on a bad road, you can always switch on the 4x4 and comfortably and confidently cruise through it. And the high ground clearance makes it a car that you don't really have to bother about speed breakers anymore. And that's a big plus. The tall stance gives it a typical off-roader positioning, which of course on the highway fetches you a bit of respect. In our Might is Right, bigger the better traffic, and even the trucks and the buses maintain their distance. And what is good is that the Yeti packs in a lot of features, which again comes in handy in a long-distance cruising mode. And the seats are comfortable and space enough for both passenger and luggage. And if you are worried about your fuel bill on an out-of-town cruise, then fear not. The Yeti is economical, as according to ARI certification, both the variants, the 4x2 as well as the 4x4, gives you a fuel average of over 17 kilometers to a litre. In fact, every time I spend time behind the wheel of an Yeti, I wonder why it has not done as well as it should have, because this is an extremely competent car. It has everything that you might need in an SUV. It has ample space, the size is compact, it has plenty of features, and the ride and drive quality is exceptional. It drives really well. The feel of the car has always been solid, and in this new Yeti 2, nothing has changed. It still gives you that same feeling of solidity. So we conclude that if you have that long sprint to Ladakh in mind, then the Yeti as your travelling companion will do the job extremely well. Yeti is a very practical everyday car, I feel, because you can drive it anywhere. You can go off-roading with it. It comes with a 4x4, it comes with a high ground clearance, it comes with enough torque from the engine, and in terms of features it offers you everything. So you can drive her and use her on an everyday basis because it's compact also, so you can park it anywhere you want. Skoda tells me that they have a list of 30 changes that they have made to this new Yeti, and I'm glad to see that some of these changes are inside as well. To begin with, the dual-tone fascia here looks quite good with a touch of wood veneer on it, and the central console here gets a nice 6.5-inch TFT display, which is added to the car in the sense that it not only looks good but it's made it much more functional. And an audio system here with a Bluetooth connectivity, and there's plenty of space here for knickknacks, including a cubby hole here on top of the console which opens at the press of a button. Quite neat. Then there's a bottle holder here as well as another cubby hole for your little knickknacks. And coming down to the driver's seat, the seat is now electrically adjustable 12 ways, and it also has memory for 3 drivers. Nice addition. In terms of the steering wheel, this is now leather wrapped and comes with multifunction buttons on it. Quite useful stuff. And the instrumentation here too looks quite good. It's now chrome ringed and gives you a whole lot more information. Stuff like tire pressure, which should come in really handy. Overall, I feel the interiors in this new Yeti has not only become better looking, but also a lot more functional. And this is what precisely makes the Yeti find favors with you. A car, okay, an SUV that does the everyday chores very well. The air conditioning is effective and the sound system with Harman Kardon speakers will entertain you very well. And plenty of cubby holes, water bottle holders will come in handy. And so will the 416-litre boot space. And the Yeti now comes with keyless entry and follow me headlamps, which will light up your way in the darkness. All very practical features to keep you happy and ensure that the Yeti does the everyday bit very well. And just to add to that promise, Skoda has thrown a warranty scheme of 2 + 2 years. So what do you get if you buy the Yeti? Actually, a pretty useful car. The diesel engine up front ensures that you get economy. The compact size ensures that if you want to use it on an everyday basis, there's no problem with parking. And in the weekends if you want to play, the 4x4 will come in very handy, plus the ground clearance of 180 millimeters. And there's plenty of space as well as packed with all the bells and whistles that you might need. But what you might not like is the pricing on the Yeti, and as far as I'm concerned, you also have to get used to the unusual look. The looks might be one reason why you see the Yeti so little on Indian roads. Add to this the price, which is on the higher side considering that the Yeti remains a 5-seater. The price for the two-wheel drive is Rs 18.99 lakhs and for the 4x4 variant it cost upwards of 20.5 lakhs. And even though the Yeti is a competent car, it is the price which will take more getting used to than its looks. And this we feel is a dampener in what otherwise is a very likeable Yeti. So I guess given this, it will be a difficult Yeti sighting on our Indian roads. Mercedes-Benz showcased the GLA at the last Auto Expo in Delhi and had raised the hopes of the SUV enthusiasts a few bar. The GLA with its chic looks and a Mercedes badge looked like a dream for many, but the company had said that it will be towards the end of the year that the GLA will be in the showrooms in India. And true to their word, the GLA is indeed making its appearance later this month. Powered by a 2-liter engine and positioned as a crossover which is meant to double up as an SUV as well, the GLA is expected to take on the likes of the BMW X1 and the Audi Q3 in terms of dimensions and the engine size. But Mercedes is very clear that they want to retain their position as that of a luxury car maker. Hence, in terms of pricing, expect a much higher price tag than its competitors. But what you can also expect is a car which is better finished and more refined. Bookings for the GLA has already started and come October deliveries too will start. So if you are looking for a smart crossover, then have a look at this one. But keep in mind that the GLA will not come with a 4-wheel drive. Suzuki Motorcycles this week launched the Gixxer 155cc motorcycle, positioning it as a street sport bike. Inspired by the bigger GSX range of superbikes, the Gixxer is expected to provide the much-needed adrenaline rush to the commuter bike segment with its spirited performance and meant for all those who love their motorcycles to look like a bigger and more expensive sports bike and at the twist of the throttle unleash excitement. The Gixxer churns out a little over 14 PS as peak power, and in terms of fuel efficiency, the company claims figures of over 63 kilometers to a liter, and this is a machine which is meant to optimize performance with fuel efficiency. With its launch, Suzuki has added to its offerings in India in the smaller commuter bike segment, and the Gixxer is expected to compete with the likes of the Yamaha FC and the Honda CBR 150.
Wonderful to leave Mumbai, but what makes this trip extra special is the season. It's the end of the monsoon, and as soon as you hit the highway, you're greeted by these lush green fields, which I just love. Now today I'm actually going to a destination that's green and beautiful throughout the year, but in the monsoon it is spectacular. It's just a 2-hour drive away, and the name of the place, when translated into English, means forest on the forehead. Let's see if you can guess where I'm going. In the meantime, I'm going to start to drive. I bet you've guessed by now that it's Matheran I'm driving to. I've been told that it's the perfect weekend getaway, and I can't wait to be at this lovely scenic hill station. I have this wonderful Hyundai Elite i20 to take me there, and it's just this lovely little hatchback with all the features you can imagine. For example, the automatic climate control here is a very useful feature. It just maintains the temperature once set, so you don't have to keep fiddling with the knobs. And the leather-wrapped steering feels great to hold, and with these multi-function buttons located so conveniently, everything's right at my fingertips. And it's features like these that make this car such a pleasure to drive.
Matheran is situated around 90 kilometers from Mumbai. After you exit the city and take the Mumbai-Pune Expressway, the traffic finally starts thinning out and the drive becomes quite nice. The trick to beat the traffic is to leave early in the morning. This is exactly what I did, and I am making good time. Now as you approach Matheran, the scenery becomes prettier and prettier. Lush green fields and rolling hills start making their appearance, and soon you're surrounded by their beauty.
The Elite i20 is also available in a diesel version, but what I'm driving today is the 1.2-litre petrol, and it's very quiet and very smooth, yet it has more than enough power to make overtaking on the highways a breeze. That's what makes this car just perfect for long drives.
But before I set about exploring Matheran, let me share an interesting fact. Matheran is Asia's only automobile-free hill station. Having been declared an eco-sensitive region by the Union Environment Ministry, the only form of automobile allowed in Matheran is an ambulance operated by the municipality. No private automobiles are allowed. So I'm going to have to trade my car in for a horse or a hand-pulled rickshaw, or the toy train which runs up from Neral to Matheran, a distance of 21 kilometers, regularly taking tourists all the way up on what is a very scenic route. Now that I have parked my car and I'm about to enter Matheran, it's my turn to board the train and take in a bit of the charming landscape.
Coming to Matheran is like taking a trip back in time. This train is over 107 years old, and it's still so quaint and charming, functions as one of the primary ways that people get around in this hill station. And it provides the most beautiful views of Matheran and really sets the tone for what lies ahead. So I can't wait to explore. After a short but enjoyable drive and a charming little train ride, I've reached Matheran. And I think my journey has really set the tone for what lies ahead. An abundance of natural beauty. I can't wait to explore, so I'm off.
Matheran, with its rambling forests and stunning landscape, was a popular resort destination during the British rule. So the town's beautiful architecture and quaint old railway have a distinctly colonial feel. The roads aren't paved, they're simply exposed strips of earth. The same red laterite earth that make up the rust-colored mountains that surround you. There are approximately 38 designated lookout points in Matheran that provide breathtaking views of the forested mountains and valleys. I'm going to check out some of the best ones.
While I love cars and I so enjoyed driving the Hyundai i20 Elite from Mumbai to Matheran, I do think it's wonderful that there are no automobiles allowed within the hill station, because these winding forest trails are perfect for long walks through the red mud and the mossy velvet grass that the monsoon has revived. I'm at the beautiful Charlotte Lake. Now this is Matheran's primary source of drinking water, so no boating, fishing or swimming is allowed on the lake to retain the purity of the water. On one end there's this dam And these gushing waterfalls are created because of it, right till the end of the cliff. It becomes a really popular tourist spot during the monsoon. As in most hill stations, in Matheran too, there are many beautiful viewing points from which you can take in the surrounding scenery. Now I'm here at Echo Point, and as you can see, the beautiful mist is sort of shrouding itself over the green hills and the waterfalls cascading below. It's truly a spectacular view and a must visit if you're in Matheran. I'm sure you've guessed by now how this point got its name. It's really popular among tourists who want to call out the names of their loved ones and hear it echo back to them. But I'm not going to bother with that because all I want to do is take in this spectacular view.
The other points you can visit are Alexander Point, Louisa Point and Khandala Point for wonderful bird's eye views of the surrounding valleys and hills, dotted with waterfalls in the monsoon.
If you're a shopaholic, you'll find that there's not that much to buy in Matheran. The bazaar is relatively small, but then you don't come to Matheran for shopping. But there are a few locally made products that are really nice, like these leather chappals over here. They're really well made and they're very reasonably priced. You can definitely pick up a pair on your way home. And if chappals aren't your thing but you have a sweet tooth, there's plenty of delicious chicky and fudge and syrups and jams and jellies, so you'll definitely have something to take home with you. Well, it's the monsoon here in Matheran, so as is expected, I got completely wet in the rain. But I find that just builds up an appetite. I was so ready for a hot cup of tea and some yummy things to eat. And luckily, there's no dearth of places to eat here. There's something for every budget, both in terms of accommodation and places to grab a bite. So, I'm gonna have a feast right now. I've had a splendid time in Matheran. It's quiet, it's peaceful, and it's beautiful. So if you have a long weekend on your hands, I highly recommend that you make a trip here. It really provides such a welcome break from the hustle and bustle of city life. And what's made this trip even more memorable for me is being able to drive this lovely new Hyundai Elite i20. It's not only beautiful to look at with its cool tail lights, it's also just a pleasure to drive. So even though I'm sad to be leaving, I'm super excited to get back behind the wheel. See you next week.